That's interesting, but no thank you. Welcome back, my friends, to another live video. This is Troy Stone King. Thank you so much for watching. The title of this episode is That's Interesting, but No Thank You. I've shared a bit in previous videos about how to make changes that require the use of willpower. And we talked about the fact that willpower simply does not work. And I referenced the book by Benjamin Hardy of that same title, Willpower Doesn't Work. Now, one of the ways that Benjamin Hardy says to deal with situations that would normally require willpower would be to change your environment, to remove the thing that you're trying to resist. But sometimes that's not possible. Recently, though, I've learned of another way to deal with trying to accomplish a goal that requires resisting something or willpower to not do something. For example, this is a way kind of to deal with temptations. For example, the temptation to eat cake when you're trying to lose weight. The temptation to have another drink when you're trying to cut down on how much alcohol you take in or to get rid of it completely. The temptation, the physical temptations of viewing the opposite sex. Temptations related to being angry or being jealous or other emotions that you're trying to decrease in your life. Now, I'm going to tell you what I've learned recently, and I've been playing with this, and it works. And it's crazy simple. Maybe you'll just think it's crazy. I'm not sure. It works like this. Don't fight the temptation. You heard me. Don't fight the temptation. Acknowledge the temptation. Recognize it. Accept that it exists. Then let it go. And of course, you're going to ask, see, how? How do you do that? How do you do that? It's really simple. And I'll explain how it works in a minute. But it's really simple. And it's 6 simple words. Now, before I give you the 6 simple words, a few episodes ago, we talked about what's called the pause. And the pause is that very brief time period between when there's a stimulus and when you react. Like the stimulus is, hey, I see this cake, and the reaction is, I'm going to eat it now. Okay? There's a stimulus and a response. Stimulus is, something made me angry, and then I'm going to lash out. Between those, there's a pause. And when we talked about that pause in the previous video, we didn't really get into, well, how do you handle the pause? Recognize it, and then maybe you won't take the activity. Maybe you won't be tempted to eat that cake, or to oogle the pretty girl, or to lash out in anger. But here's what you do for the pause. 6 simple words, and I'll explain how it works more in just a minute. Here are the words. That's interesting, but no thank you. That's interesting, but no thank you. You see, when I say that's interesting, I recognize that I'm tempted. I can't argue with the fact that the temptation shows up. The piece of cake, the alcoholic beverage, the pretty girl, the impulse buy, the temptation to lash out in anger. I'm acknowledging, when I say that's interesting, I'm acknowledging that temptation is there. I know it exists. But then I say, but no thank you. And when I say, but no thank you, it takes the power away from the temptation. You see, when I fight a temptation, I'm giving it power. I'm saying, you have power over me, and I'm trying to have more power in order to defeat you. I'm trying to fight you with my own willpower. But when I say, that's interesting, but no thank you, it's kind of like 2 people who are talking, and one person decides to start an argument. And the other person just says, you know what? I'm not going to participate in an argument right now. And it takes the air out of the sails of the person who's trying to argue. It takes away their power in the argument because the other person just won't play. I know a married couple, married for over 40 years. This was the exact method early in their marriage. that one person used. The other person came from an argument or a family where there was a lot of arguing. And so that was this person's default mode when something went wrong. They would argue, and the other member of the marriage just wouldn't argue back. They just wouldn't fight. And you know what? If one person won't fight, there's no fight. It doesn't happen. It's the exact same principle. When you're tempted to do something you don't want to do, you've got a goal, and doing this thing would be against the goal. You want to have more peace in your life, so you want to get rid of anger. You want to lose weight, so you want to get rid of eating things that are bad for you. You want to have more control over your thoughts and actions, so you want to cut out on the alcohol. You want to be more loyal to your spouse, so you don't want to be tempted by the opposite sex. You want to save money in your budget, so you don't want to do impulse buys. Here's what you do. You acknowledge and recognize the temptation, but you tell it no thank you. Remember, here are the 6 simple words. That's interesting, but no thank you. I got to tell you, I learned about this very recently, and I've been using it, and it's crazy, stupid, ridiculous, but it works. It's crazy, stupid, ridiculous, but it works. Now, it works in conjunction with that pause that I mentioned between the stimulus, the cake, and the response. I'm going to eat it. If you acknowledge that the cake has power, oh, that's interesting, but no thank you, then you take away the power of whatever the temptation is. And it really doesn't matter if it's a food thing or if it's a psychological thing or physical thing. You take away the power. You take away the power. So, just a quick summary. When you're tempted to do something that you don't want to do because you've got some kind of goal in place, acknowledge it and remove its power. That's interesting, but no thank you. That's interesting, but no thank you. I want you to try it out. And so when you try it out, do me a small favor. Send me a private message on Facebook or send me an email live, live, at troystoneking.com, or you could comment on this video. But I want to know your results because I've really been seeing this, and it's very, very interesting, very, very helpful in my life in a relatively short period of time. So give it a shot and let me know how it goes. All right. Hey, thanks for all those likes. Anybody else who's liking this video, you like this topic, hit that like button. I'd appreciate it very much. I would love to see this message shared. I think this is so stupid simple, but can help a lot of people. So take this video, and if you think it's got value, share it to your friends. I'm going to put it over on the YouTube channel as well. That's youtube.com/Troy Stoneking, youtube.com/Troy Stoneking. But send me an email, live@troystoneking.com, and let me know your results. Those of you that have just joined in the last minute or two, listen, do me a favor. About 30 seconds after I'm done recording, it's going to be on Facebook. Start from the beginning. I really think that you or someone you care about is going to get value out of this specific message. So thank you again, my friends, for taking the time to watch. Have a wonderful rest of your day.